Let me show you 5 creative ways to use the Draw feature in Canva to add some hand-drawn elements to your designs. From playful doodles that will add a bit of fun to your presentations, to whiteboard sketches that breathe life into your ideas, or even going full-on Picasso with hand-drawn fonts, the Draw tool is your secret weapon. So let's get cracking in Canva and explore how this extraordinary tool can help you stand out. What is up everyone, Ronnie here, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the Draw tool feature in Canva and what we can do with it, how we can use it creatively to enhance our designs. One thing I have noticed is that when you use hand-drawn elements in any design, it injects a bit of your personality in that design, generating emotions for the viewers. And these emotions create a more personal connection with your audience. So that is exactly what I will be trying to do today. I want to inject some of my personality into my designs to generate these emotions and therefore deeper connect with my audience, with the people who will discover these visual designs. I will also use the Draw tool to pull the attention of my audience to specific elements in my designs, to quickly sketch up some ideas, but most importantly, what I'm trying to achieve here is to create a memorable visual identity, a style that people will remember. So that being said, let's jump into Canva and discover the first way of using the Draw tool. Okay, I am here in Canva and I just created an Instagram post document. Okay, so that is the 1:1 aspect ratio. I'm gonna reduce the size of this and I do have my iPad right here. I'm going to combine the two because it is way more practical to hand draw in Canva with the tool feature if you do have an Apple Pencil or some sort of pencil and tablet. Okay, so since I do have one, I'm gonna be using it. But again, if you don't have one, it's fine. You can still follow along and do everything with your mouse or with your trackpad, or even with your finger if you're using your phone. All right, so let's see how the Draw tool can spice up our typography. In order to do this, well, I kind of need some typography going on. All right, so I am going to be using the text tab right here on this object panel. And from here, you can find a couple of pre-made text combinations. So for the sake of this, I'm going to be using this one. The first one that I'm going to be using, first typography, is this combo right here. So it's made out of 2 different fonts. I'm gonna ungroup this and only keep that bold typeface right here. I'm gonna make that slightly bigger. Okay, so let's say that is your text right here. So next, what I'm going to do is to open this exact same design right here on my iPad. So I probably should give this a title. I would call this my drawing playground. Okay, drawing playground. Okay, drawing playground. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna refresh here on the iPad. Okay, now that it is renamed, I can easily open that same design right here on the iPad. So I have the same text right here. The first thing I want to show you is to simply locate the Draw tool, which is right here on the object panel. This time it should be under the Uploads tab. Okay, so I'm going to tap on it. And what we see here from my iPad is that I have different tools, okay? The first one I have is some sort of a thin marker. Then I do have a thicker marker. And then I have a highlighter. Okay, so it's kind of like a pen, a marker, and a highlighter. Then the next tool, this one right here, is the eraser. The eraser will be useful to erase the previous stroke you made with either your pen, your marker, or your highlighter. It's as simple as that. If you touch it with the eraser, it will be gone. Then we have a little cursor, which indicates you coming back to your normal cursor, which is pretty handy to be able to switch back and forth between your pens and your cursor. Then you have a color button that works with any other color button in Canva. If you are a Canva Pro user or if you have created a custom palette, then you will have access to these brand fonts right here, which is quite handy as well. And then the last button is the weight of your stroke. Okay, so you have 3 different weight, very thin, which is at 4 point by default. You have kind of like middle, which is 12 point, and then you have a thicker one, which is currently at 36. And you have a transparency slider that allows you to make your stroke more or less transparent. All right, that is very well. So let's just notice that if I tap here on the brand hub, we can see that I'm using my Team Rondi 2023 brand kit. Okay, so that is important to mention because this will give me access to my brand colors, even from the draw tool right here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be using the marker, the second one, change the color to my branded pink right here, and then tap on the stroke to make that to my desired thickness. Okay, so 12, let's bump this to 20. Okay, good. Now, I'm gonna tap on my marker again. Let's say I want to highlight the word tasty here. So what I could do is simply underline it like so with my pen right here, okay? Now, if I come back to my computer, one very simple thing I can do is I see if I click on this element that I just created on my iPad, I can do different things. I can change its color, could have that blue, yellow, or whatever color, but I could also play around with the position. Okay, the position button, if I bring in the layers, and I can maybe drag that to be underneath the word tasty. All right, next thing I could do, I could select everything right here and group them. So now I have this one group of elements that carries both my typography and my hand-drawn doodle, hand-drawn, I would say, highlighting or underlying of that particular word. So this allows me to bring the attention of people to this particular word, and it gives a feeling of, yeah, this has been made by hand. It's not like an element in Canva, though some elements look like that. They look similar to this underlying, but you can really go very personal with this. Okay, you can use your brand colors, you can use your style of stroke. Okay, so this is the first thing I wanted to show you. Let me add a page right here and scroll down right here on my iPad. I really love to be able to play with both the iPad and the computer to design with ease in Canva in this tool. So the second thing I want to show you is how you can customize your fonts by drawing some little doodles around them. So again, I will need a font. This time, I'm just gonna come to my preset fonts right here, my branded fonts, use this one and simply write Rondi, okay? I'm gonna make that quite bigger and center that in the middle of my page. Okay, so arrange, center, middle. All right, so I have my base, my typography that I want to enhance, created on the computer. Now let me jump back to the iPad right here and start having fun with this. This time, I'm going to be using the pen right here, the first one, and I'm going to change that color to pink and then play around with the weight of my stroke. I want something smaller this time, maybe 6. Okay, I think 6 will do. So with my first pen selected and my pencil in my hand, I'm just going to start having fun with this word Rondi, okay? I'm going to draw some little antennas here. I'm going to draw little shoes, like so. I can do some sort of like footprint right here, little smiley in the eye and have a bigger eye. So something like this. Guys, one thing you should know is that I absolutely cannot draw. I have never been able to draw and I probably will never be able to draw. So being able to design with a digital platform like Canva has been a blessing for me because I really suck at drawing, as you can see. Now back to the design. Let me actually erase that last part with the eye. So erasing is very simple. I'm just going to select the eraser right here, and I'm going to touch every single stroke that I designed around the dot of the eye. Now back to my pen, let's try something else. Let's try something a little bit more, yeah, something like that, and maybe some smoke here because my eye is taking off. All right, so that is a little bit better. Still not great at design, but what can we do? I think we are going to leave it here. I think you do get the point. You can pretty much take any font, write anything in Canva in any typography that you want to choose, and then start adding a layer of hand-drawn doodles to it to really make it fun, make it personalized. You can play around with different colors. For example, if I come back to my computer, after drawing on the iPad, I can see that every stroke is actually a separate element. You see, all of these strokes are separate elements. And what I like about them is that I can even change their colors. For example, if I want to change the colors of these two shoes right here without changing the color of my actual font, I can select them and then change the color, make them blue. Similarly, these three guys right here can make them black, or I could make them purple. If I want to wander away from my visual branding, which I probably shouldn't, but if I want to stay on brand, I could keep playing with this blue and with this pink. Now, these guys right here and the smoke effect of the eye kind of like taking off like a rocket didn't turn out that great. Let's admit it. So I'm just going to delete all of that and simply keep this one right here. I can group that. And now I have this as an element. I could insert that in a design, in a presentation, in anything that you like. This is just an example of what you could do. I count on you to draw better than me and to be slightly more creative than I am. I am using these childish examples to kind of show you the field of possibilities, to awaken your curiosity and your willingness to jump in there and try it for yourself. And now that we've warmed up with these two designs, let's push things one step further. I would like to try and customize some fonts, all right? So for this one, I'm just going to create a new text box and search for a specific font, okay? I want something round. So I'm gonna type in round here and let's go for wedges. Okay, this is going to look great. I'm gonna write my name, Ronnie. Well, actually, let's just write Ron. That would be enough to customize 3 letters. So you get the point, but not gonna spend too much time on this. Okay, so this is what I want to customize and you can have fun with this. So you could just go with your effects and go, for example, outline, start customizing from here. Or like in my case, the first thing I'm going to do is to add a bit of more spacing, not between the line, but between the letters. So like so. And I'm going to turn this to my pink color right here. Again, I'm gonna bump this up a bit, make this slightly bigger. And now it's good. I can pick it up from my iPad, grab my pencil and start having fun with this. So this time I'm going to select my thin pen again, but instead of pink, I'm gonna be using white. Okay, my stroke 6 seems good. Maybe let's go 10 actually. Okay, whites. So the first thing I'm going to do is to try and create some sort of like shiny effect on the R. So I could do something like that. Yeah, or should actually be here, something like that. I don't know, you kind of see like if the light was coming from one spot and you want to have these little shiny spots. So that would be one thing we can do. Okay, I'm gonna erase these, come back. I'm just hitting the back arrow. I want to show you something else. Like you could really customize these letters. Let's go Frankenstein on these and create some sort of a patchwork effect like so. So that would be one way of customizing these letters. Okay, all right, let's try something else on the O right here. I could draw some little hearts. Oh, that's cute. All right, so little hearts. Very cute. And something even different on the R. I could have some lines go like this. They're kind of consistent. Try to go all the way till the end. Yeah, something like that. So this is just another way you can have fun with your typography. You start with a normal font and then you come in with the draw tool and start tweaking them. So some more examples of these that I found on the internet could be something like this. So you can really start having fun with your fonts. So hopefully these will inspire you and you will try replicating them using that technique I just showed you. All right, my friends, I think it's time we move on to the second way you can use the draw tool creatively. The second way I want to show you could use the draw tool is to create personalized backgrounds. So if you are an avid viewer of our channel and a solid fan of Team Rondi, you might remember some of our custom elements and our custom backgrounds. We have this blue one right here. We have backgrounds like this one, stuff like this. You know, these are kind of like custom backgrounds that us with our team have created created. So I want to show you how you can achieve similar results, similar level of customization of your background using the Draw tool. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, still in our Instagram post right here, we can do this in any kind of document really, but since this one is right here and it's open, let's go ahead and create some other things right here. The first thing I'm going to do is to select a color. Okay, so let's go for yellow, let's go for this one pink and the blue one. So we have our 3 branded colors. All right, so now grabbing my pen, I'm going to start drawing some lines and drawing some nice little hand-drawn patterns on these colored backgrounds. So I'm going to select my white color, this time with my marker, the thicker marker. So I'm going to change this to white, and my stroke needs to be quite big this time. So let's try it. Yeah, that's kind of big enough. I'm gonna delete this and come back. All right, so the first thing I want to do is this wavy background. So I'm gonna just start making waves like so. All right, so once you have created a couple of strokes, you can come back to your computer. I'm gonna select them all. I'm gonna make that slightly bigger. Okay, kind of like that. And I'm gonna add some transparency to this. I'm gonna reduce the slider, maybe all the way to 35. Yeah, until I get something like that. Okay, if I want to create that even more like bigger lines or smaller lines, it's really up to me. I can play with the size of these strokes. Once I'm happy with them, I can keep them here, and there we go. We have a first custom background. Now let's scroll down to the pink color, the pink page, and try something else. I'm gonna try to create some little triangles this time. So I'm going to this one was not that great. I'm going to delete that. Maybe reduce my stroke slightly. Instead of 36, let's go for 28. All right, so let's try some triangles. Okay, so there's 1. There's 2. You can draw a couple, like a few different ones. This one is nice. I like it. This one as well. And you don't have to create all of the patterns from here with your pencil. You can leave it here. You have 4 different shapes right here. And you will see that some strokes have been made in 2 strokes actually. Like this one, we have 1, 2, here 2, here 2, and here 2. So the first thing you want to do is to group them right here from your computer. Okay, so these shapes are actually 1 element, or this one is actually 3 shapes. Okay, so once you do have that, you can start duplicating them. So I'm gonna hold my Option or my Control key. You can rotate, and like so, you can really start making some new shapes and create your pattern, your background as you wish. Okay, so that's really a question of how big you want them, where you want them positioned. Always think about how you're going to use this pattern or this background and how many reproduction do you want. But it's pretty much as easy as this. So you create them all, then you select them all, and then you reduce their transparency. Let's be consistent and keep them at 35. Once you're here, different things you can do. You can stretch them up, okay? So you create something much bigger and could have something like that. You could have a bit less big and really try to fill up your page with these custom triangle backgrounds, okay? If you see that, okay, it would be nice to have a little bit more here, you can adjust at this point. But yeah, this looks like a cool little background. Now moving on to the last one, the blue one right here. I'm gonna continue on the iPad. For this one, I'm going to create these simple lines, okay? So I'm gonna go like so, trying to keep more or less the same distance between my lines. Okay, but I still want them to be pretty hand-drawn, like so. All right, so again, I'm done here on the iPad. I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna group it, reduce the transparency to 35, maybe stretch that slightly so we don't see the fails. And there you go. We can also rotate. We want them in another way. like positioned in another way. If you see like it's not touching the edges, you can continue to stretch or you can rotate some more. So there you go. We have 3 custom backgrounds right here that are not as professionally made as the ones I showed you before, the ones we have right here, because these were made by a professional designer, which I'm not, but you get the point. You get the idea. You can really go and create some nice little hand-drawn background for yourself, for your personal brand. This will strengthen your visual identity, I believe, because we've been creating this entire visual identity for our brand, Team Rondi, based on simple doodles like these ones. So I would highly encourage you to develop such a folder. It's a simple folder that you can keep in your other Canva folders with some branded elements. So yeah, go ahead and create them. You could create some arrows, you could create some lines, shapes, all sorts of things. And this is actually a nice segue into the third method of using the Draw tool. This time, I want to show you how to create hand-drawn logos and icons. Okay, continuing in our Instagram document right here, already 8 pages. This time we want to create some hand-drawn icons / logos that we could be using. So I have this idea of creating a couple of custom icons related to YouTube, like a play button and maybe a little bell for the notification. So let's go ahead and see how we could do that. So I could, if I was gifted, I could just pick up the pen and start drawing on the iPad, but I feel like this would be a disaster. Trust me, you don't want to see this. So what I'm going to do is to cheat a little bit and, you know, do like kids do when they're in the kindergarten and they don't know how to draw or to write yet. So they kind of follow the line, they write on top of the existing line. So this is what I'm going to do. So let me show you. I use this icon right here, this pre-made icon. I'm going to make that big so I have enough space to write. And I'm going to reduce its transparency quite a bit to this. Okay, now this is good. Let's switch over to the iPad. All right, so now what I will do is to pick up from here with my marker, with my pink color, this pink color, and let's see the stroke. Maybe that's slightly too big. Let's go 24. Okay, that sounds good. Let's start with this little triangle here. I'm actually trying to make this look decent. Okay, that is decent. Now the hard part, like how am I going to do this really hard thing here? No, that wasn't good. So let me delete that, start again. This is super hard. Okay. This is not too bad. There's a bit of like failure here. All right, let's admit this is beautiful, okay? So once you have that on your iPad, what you can do is come back to your computer here and hit the position button and layers, okay? I'm going to delete this layer right here. So I'm gonna click on it, so the lines, the actual logo. I'm gonna click on the 3 little dots and then delete that layer. So I am only left with what I've drawn. Okay, so now I can group all of this together, and this means I do have my custom button right here. Okay, if I wanted, I could draw it like even more. I could change its color. So I could easily change the color to another color, make sure I have everything here selected into blue or pink or whatever color. If I want to continue drawing and filling this triangle with some colors, I could also do so. But let's move on to the second page. Now this time I want to draw the notification bell from YouTube. So I'm gonna find it. So there's one right here. And talking about notification bell, guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, you should really do so now. We have close to 500 tutorials. 500! We've been doing this for 5 years or so. So yeah, this is really your one chance to learn how to design with Canva. And yeah, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell while you are at it so you never miss our new tutorials. Now back to this bell. Let's make this bell beautiful. Let's make a handmade bell so that you have absolutely no reason not to subscribe with this handmade bell. All right, so same technique. I'm going to select this icon, reduce the transparency, and and switch over to the iPad and try to make that beautiful. Okay, this time it's gonna be yellow because bells are yellow. Okay, let's go ahead and design this. Okay, beautiful so far. All right, so let's make that in different parts. Okay, now we can start filling up with the colors. I can increase the size of this stroke for colors. I'm gonna go much bigger, like 50. Okay, yeah, 50 is big, nice and big. I can go fast. Let's make sure I don't spill out outside of this. That would be a catastrophe because this is actually a nice bell I have been creating here. This is a nice feeling to be coloring on your Canva. Okay, it's not too bad. Let's say this is good. All right, back to the computer. I'm gonna play around with the position. Again, delete this layer right here. Don't need that anymore, so delete, and there you go. All I have to do is to group all of that. I do have my notification bell. I can make that smaller so we don't see the imperfections that much. I could even just add a shape. For example, this, let's use irregular shape. Irregular shapes, searching in my elements. And I could find some irregular shapes right here in the graphics. So for example, this one right here, use that, make that on brand again with this gray, for example, push it backwards. All right, so I can push it underneath my bell right here. Now I have a nice button. I can group everything, make that smaller, and you now have a button that you could use on your website, for example. When you make them small, like so, let me change the color of the background so you can see what's going on here. You could design your social icons in that same way, hand-drawn social icons. How cool is that? All right, I think it's time we move on to the next way we can use the Draw tool. The next way I'm going to be using the Draw tool is to enhance some existing photos. Let's continue to work on that branding piece, the Team Rondi piece, where people will understand what Team Rondi is. It's about Ronnie, Indiana, but also creating that memorable visual identity through the creation of handmade doodles and drawings. So I have the word Rondi here. I could have the word Team Rondi. Let's do team in all caps right here and make that much smaller. Okay, Team Rondi. All right, Team Rondi. So what I want to do here is to have this Rondi kind of explain, what does Rondi mean? Well, Rondi stands for Ronnie and Diana, Rondi. So I want to visually represent that on that visual right here. So I'm going to use my iPad with the first pen right here, the thinner pen. I'm gonna have this, yep, 10 sounds good, but the color should be pink first. And let's do some dashed lines around the Ron first. Stick to close to my letters here. Okay, we have Ron, and next we want some blue color to do the D. Let's draw from here. Okay, Ron, D. Perfect. So D will have a little arrow pointing this way, and Ron needs to have his little arrow pointing this way. Perfect, Ron, D. Okay, I have enough here. I can snap my pencil back onto my iPad, and now I can come here, group all of that, make that smaller, have that center in my design, and start having fun. Or I could just delete the team, Rondi. I'm just explaining what Rondi means. All right, so for that, I'm going to be using two different frames right here. So if I search for frame, like so, and see all, I'm searching for some irregular frames like this one right here. This is nice. I'm gonna position it here for now. And another one, let's go for this one, so a different one. So still maintain this feeling of irregularity throughout the entire design. Okay, so I have all of this now. Make sure it is centered. And what I'm going to do is to simply insert some pictures into these frames. So let's go here. I have some pictures of Ronnie. So let's grab this first one right here. Nice. I'm going to duplicate this frame. And instead of a picture in the second one, I'm just going to have it filled with colors. Now I could position it back on top of my photo, go to position and bring it down a bit like so. Now I could bring that photo closer to the edge right here. Okay, this is good. And I'm going to be doing the exact same thing here with a photo of Diana. So I need a photo of Diana. There we go. Let's grab this one right here. Again, I'm duplicating this. And this time I'm going to give it this color right here, making this slightly bigger, and going to use these adjustment lines to see where the photo is actually very well centered with the frame. Okay, position, again, this needs to be underneath Diana and just make it pop like this. All right, now we do have our team run the explain right here in one single element. So this was really cool. One last thing I could do is to write our full name around this photo. So for that, I'm going to come back to the iPad, grab my pencil, okay, and I'm going to do so. So the first one is Ronnie. Writing Ronnie, nice. And next I need to switch to blue and I can write Diana right here. So I need to make sure. Okay, Ronnie and Diana. Maybe I could use Diana on the other side. Let's delete this with the eraser. I'm gonna actually write Diana's name here. Okay, Ronnie and Diana. Perfect. Now, this was the first way I wanted to show you that you can play around with some photos, some visual, enhance them by creating some custom, some hand-drawn visual elements to complement these photos. Now, let me show you another way to work with your photos. Now, this time, I'm going to be using this photo of myself right here. I'm gonna position it here. And I'm going to do something a little bit unusual. See, I'm going to go to my draw tool right here. I'm going to screenshot this part of the Canva UX right now. So basically just screenshotting the object panel right here. There you go. My screenshot is here. I'm going to bring it to my design like so. And I'm going to tuck this right here and stretch it all the way to the bottom of the page. Okay, I'm going to make that slightly bigger. Like so. Okay, next I want to try to get rid of this color right here because this should only show me the page. So I'm gonna reduce this gray color to this and then create a rectangle, which is actually a square. Hold my shift key and drag. Okay, I want this to represent my page. So I'm gonna go all the way and touch this, and my page should obviously be white, right? So need to make it so, make that white, push it backwards, position, this should come right there. Now this background right here should be the color of my Canva editor right here. So this color, and I should probably have a second page starting right there, and this should be kind of like the distance between the two pages. Okay, now this looks good. This looks like a real Canva design. I should probably have another little screenshot, which is the page title right here. I can bring that to my design as well. Make that way smaller like so. And this comes here. Okay, now this represents a real Canva design. Let's start using the draw tool now, because that was the actual point of this entire design. So, all right, that is the setup. What I'm going to do is to take it from here on the iPad. Okay, so moving to my iPad, what I want to do is to create, to enhance this photo in different ways. So first, I'm going to make sure I'm using the right stroke. Okay, 10 seems like a little bit too small. I'm gonna go for 14 and probably use this marker. Okay, pink seems to be the color that I need. Let's see, 50 is way too big. I'm going to use my keyboard, show the keyboard to bring that back to 22. Okay, sounds good. All right, so now from here, I can do what I need to do. So I'm going to draw a speech bubble. All right. Like so. That's actually too big. So I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to be using this first pencil right here with 14. So right now, I think I need to reduce the size of Ronnie here. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. All right, now this is much better. Now this is a placeholder, a speech bubble that will hold some of the text that I will add here. Now something else I could do is to simply add a bit of fun to this. For example, I could redo my glasses, something like this. And yeah, you can fill up the space anyhow you want. So right now I'm happy with this. I'm not going to go too wild with this, but I'm going to finish this design from here. So for that, I am going to find the right font, which is not this one. This is just to have the size of my text right here. And yep, I'm gonna go to my font button right here and search this time for handwriting. Okay, handwriting. All right, so my goal here is to find a handwritten font that would look good here. Apricot, maybe finger paint, not really. I could do finger paint. I could try something fun here. I could try to put some paint on my fingers. Okay, let's do this. So the text here is 5 fun ways to use Draw. Okay, and I'm gonna go all caps with these 5 fun ways to use Draw. I'm going to scale this to the right size, lightly tilt it, and make sure it is pretty much aligned, centered here. I can use I'll go for black and then give this an effect, give this some echoing effect with the pink. 5 fun ways to use Draw. Actually, this is not gonna work if I want the pink paint on my fingers. I need this to be pink and maybe the effect to be a different color. So the effect could be blue, not great. Let's say black. Okay, little slight shadow like so. 5 fun ways to use Draw. Or I could just go all the way pink, change the color of this. That's the great thing about the hand-drawn elements, that you can change their colors. So I'm gonna change the color to black. All right, good. Now, all I need to do is to have a little bit of paint on my finger here. For that, back to the iPad, I'm gonna use my pink color here and add a bit of color on my fingertips. Perfect. Now I think this design is pretty much done. Not completely sure about the glasses, but I'm gonna leave them anyways to show you what we can do. Now there is one last way of using that Draw tool. It's like considered more like the more conventional way. I try to show you less conventional ways of using it, more original ways. But let me show you now the actual way that Canva is promoting it to sketch up your ideas, to breathe life into your ideas by using a Canva whiteboard and using the Draw tool on that whiteboard to collaborate, to brainstorm with your colleagues or with your students, to sketch up some ideas, to highlight some information on your whiteboard, etc., etc. So this is more kind of like la raison d'être of the Draw tool as Canva has pictured it. What I showed you so far are some out there ways, some other ways to use it. So I think that this tutorial wouldn't be complete if I didn't show you the actual original way of using Draw. So let's switch over to a Canva whiteboard and wrap up this tutorial. All right, I have my Canva whiteboard right here. It's made out of a couple of things already. I have already sketched a few things and I have some images that have been pasted here. So I'm gonna switch over to the iPad and show you how we could use the Draw tool on a whiteboard. So to zoom in on a whiteboard, pretty easy. You just use 2 fingers and you spread them apart, just like you would zoom on your phone or anything like that. So let me show you, for example, I could use the Draw tool. Okay, I'm gonna be using different colors this time. I'm gonna continue with this green right here and start by a shape. Let's create a, that's not thick enough. I need something thicker like this. Great. I'm gonna delete these. We're actually going a bit thicker still. Okay, let's go 16. I want to create a rectangle. So if I create the rectangle and then keep pushing, like keep applying pressure, Canva will auto assist my shape and create a nicer looking shape. You see what happened here? I can do this with different kinds of shape, like a circle. If I keep applying pressure on my pencil, if I don't release the pencil, it will help me, it will assist me in creating a nicer shape. Okay, it works with the basic shapes like triangles, circles, square, rectangles, maybe diamond works as well. Yep, it does work. A line would work as well. If you hold it, it will create a straight line. So these are just some examples of things you could do. Let me delete these from this whiteboard. All right, so first thing I want to do here is to create a shape. Let's not make it perfect. And next, I could simply write some ideas, okay? So here, I'm gonna create a bullet point. I need to first brainstorm. Brainstorm and then create my slides. And then maybe record my talking heads. All right, then after this, I can move to a second box right here, which is the actual shooting of my video. Okay, I'm just trying to throw some ideas here. So here I would start with the hook, then probably some talking heads, and then some screen recordings. And then I would continue. See, this is where the cursor is useful. You see, like what I've done right here, I tried to move the whiteboard, but I had this pencil selected, so it created a line. So two things, you use your eraser to actually erase your mistakes. And next, you use your little cursor here, so you can, again, start moving your whiteboard left and right. Okay, so back to my color. This time I want a big circle here, but I want the circle to be more perfect. So I let the Canva Shape Assist do its job, and there you go. I have a perfect oval. Okay, next I need to change my color back to white, and I can continue writing here. So the next steps would be to send to production, to correct, and to publish, etc. etc. So you can just like that create your entire workflow and start sketching up your ideas. And the beauty of your Canva whiteboards is that you can insert all sorts of links here. So if I want to insert the link to a video, I can simply grab it on YouTube and then paste it in my whiteboard, and there you go. You do have your video right here. So this is the actual first video we created on the channel about the Draw app when it was still an app and not a native feature. But that's the beauty of the Canva whiteboards, is that you can add all sorts of media. You can add photos, shapes, you can add wireframes, etc., etc. And you can continue doing stuff on the iPad. So for example, I have my video right here. Now what I can do, I can highlight that simply by having a different color, and then I could let somebody know, for example, Diana. So I make sure this is for Diana. I will link this video in the description. Okay? And you can add a tag for Diana right here. I can add a message and tag Diana. So add Diana, not message, but at Diana. Right there, I can let her know, can you please make sure we add this video link in the description. That's it. And then I can say thank you. Okay, assign this to Diana. There you go. So this is actually super useful. You can really use these elements, like these doodles, on your whiteboard as well to visually sketch up your ideas. It's a tool that will help you lay down your ideas in a very simple way, very easily, and complement these ideas, these initial bullet points, with all sorts of media. Basically, the entire tool set of Canva. Everything that Canva is offering you can be complemented by some note-taking, by some simple doodling, simple idea sketching right there in your Canva whiteboard. So I'm going to leave it here for today. I think you see the potential of this Draw tool. Let me know in the comment section, like, how would you use the Draw tool? Like, show me some other ways that I haven't yet thought about of using this Draw tool, because I'm super interested in, it's just like exploring other ways that I might not have thought about so far. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for learning with us. We appreciate that. For those of you who want to go deeper, we have our paid courses on Udemy, the Canva Master Course being my best-selling course, so I would always recommend this one. And this week, I'm going to leave you with this other tutorial that I think you should watch next. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.